Here are the assembly instructions for my bottle caddy. My caddy has two sides to it, and both sides are identical, and then they are glued together. So I'm just separating the base pieces. For each side I have one of the shorter pieces, one of the taller pieces with the handle at the top, and then two pieces that sort of look like very large T's. I'm going to assemble the first side to begin with. I'm going to start with the large T's, and I'm just folding down on the score lines. So now that I've folded down those score lines for those pieces, I'm going to fold down on the score lines for 1/2 of the caddy. I have two vertical score lines for the smaller piece, and then two score lines along the bottom of the piece. I'm going to have the same score lines for the larger piece that has the handle attached. So next I'm going to take one of the pieces that are shaped like a T. I'm going to put glue on the upper right hand panel, and I'm going to place this panel so that it's right on that larger panel, right against the left score line and the bottom score line, like so. I want the piece to be right up against the score line on both the bottom and on the left hand side. And then I'm going to take my second T piece with my shorter piece. I'm going to put glue all over that upper right hand panel, so from the score line right to the edge, and I'm placing it on the largest rectangle right up against the score line on my left hand side, and right against the score line on the bottom as well. So next I'm flipping both my pieces over. I'm tucking away the light colored pieces so they don't get in the way. I'm putting glue on the side tab of my larger piece, and I'm gluing the shorter piece to the side tab. I want the cut edge of it right along the score line of the tab. So now I'm looking at the inside of my box. I'm going to fold over my short panel on my left hand side. So I've just used some scrap plastic to make sure that I don't get any glue on the inside of my box. I put glue from the score line to the edge, and then I'm folding the other side of my box over. I want the cut edge of my piece to be right against the score line of my tab, and I want the score lines at the bottom to be nice and even. So those two T-shaped pieces are actually separators on the inside of my caddy. I've not folded up those bottom pieces. Those are nice and flat, and I have my pieces in the shape that I eventually want them in. Now I'm going to glue those pieces to the walls of my caddy, and I'm going to do them one at a time, although you can do them at the same time. I'm putting glue all over this panel. I'm going inside with my glue, and I'm putting glue all over that panel. I'm just covering it. It's hard to see. The entire panel is covered in glue. And then I'm just folding my caddy flat. And what this does, it automatically places that panel exactly where it needs to be inside my caddy. So when I pop it up, there it is. It glue all along this panel on the underside of it. And when I flatten my caddy, it automatically positions it where it needs to be. I do the same thing with the other side as well. I'm just putting glue all over that panel, making sure that all these flaps at the bottom are straightened out. I'm just flattening my caddy, spreading that glue. So now I'm going to work on the bottom of my box. I have the two light color panels that are going to fit on either side. I'm just going to put glue on the tab and folding it under. I'm making sure that the score line is right against the score line of the flap that's at the bottom. And then I'm going in with my bone folder, and I'm just spreading the glue, making sure that that tab adheres properly. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, putting glue on the tab, making sure that it's placed properly right against the score line of this flap. The score line of the tab and the score line of the blue flap have to match up. And then I'm going in with my bone folder and just spreading that glue. So next I'm putting glue on both of those side flaps and folding them inwards and gluing them against the light color piece. And then I'm putting glue on the flap that's at the back. It's the panel that has the handle. So I'm putting glue on the corners of it and then folding it upwards. And then I'm covering that flap with glue and then folding down the front panel. And now I'm going to go in from the top, make sure I'm spreading all of that glue. So now I'm going to assemble the second side the exact same way. So now that I've finished my second side, I'm going to glue both halves together. I'm just putting glue all over the panel that has the cutout for the handle. And then I'm laying the second half on top, trying to line up the bottom and the sides exactly, and lining up the opening for the handle as well. And then I have this piece for the top. It has a score line in the center. I'm just holding down on that center score line. And then I'm opening it up again and putting glue all over the interior of it. And then I'm sandwiching it over the centerpiece of my caddy. Got it elevated so that I can just go in there with my bone folder and spread all that glue. And then I have a piece of coordinating blue foil craft board. I'm putting glue on the underside of it and then just gluing my panel to the bottom of my caddy. And there should be a tiny border all the way around. And so there's my beer caddy. And I've made some beer bottle gift boxes to put inside. But it's strong enough to hold 6 regular sized beer bottles.